Здравствуйте, у меня к вам несколько вопросов. Можете ли вы 10 лет прожить в экзотическом месте в одиночестве? У меня на этот вопрос нет ответа. 22 числа начался документальный фестиваль документального кино в Киеве, и сегодня мы будем говорить с режиссером, польским режиссером про этот фильм, потому что она сняла документальное кино о женщине, которая 10 лет прожила в Бразилии, в одиночестве, ушла от людей. Почему она это сделала и вообще, как вышел фильм, мы будем сегодня общаться с Камилой Юзефович. Мы будем говорить на английском языке, поэтому вы послушайте нас на английском языке, а потом через несколько, может быть, часов выйдет русскоязычная версия, вы сможете нас увидеть на русском языке. Camila, welcome. Thank you that you come to our Life TV. I'd like to ask you the name of the film. Can you please name your film about the lady that lived for 10 years in Brazil?
The name of the film?
Yes.
Yeah, well, the title is a bit complicated, like nobody remembers it. So. But the word galumphing was invented by Lewis Carroll, which wrote Alice in Wonderland. And exactly it means...
Its name is galumping, yes?
Galumping, yeah, you can say galumping or galumphing. I mean, I don't mind.
What does it mean?
It means, it's a word created by Lewis Carroll, and it means walking by jumping, So walking and jumping a little bit like little kids do, They when they are happy, they walk and they make little jumps. So this is what galumphing means. It's like going, with jumping, which means that you are happy. You don't think you are a little kid. You are innocent. It has all these different meanings inside. But I also the title is also galumphing because of another quotation of Stephen Nachmanovich, which is a virtuoso on violin, and he says that his interpretation of the word is like, it's living the life with the moment, it's like thinking...
to live in right now, in the exact place,
to think about
and to be happy.
The road itself, walking, and not the goal that is in the end, to focus on the things, on the moment.
Let's watch the trailer right now.
Okay, yeah.
Мы сейчас посмотрим трейлер, чтобы вы поняли, что вообще такое это означает галумпинг, и о чем будет фильм, который показали вчера на Docu Days фестивале документального кино. Давайте посмотрим.
É o que o Brasil conhece desde a Argentina, chegou pra cá, tá?
I know very little about her. What I really know about her is that she's very courageous.
Morar sozinha, entendeu? Longe de população.
Вам понравился трейлер, сейчас мы будем общаться дальше, поговорим с Камилой о том, как создавался этот фильм, вообще какие-то особенности вот этой девушки Даны, которая живет 10 лет в Бразилии. So, Camila, can you tell us something extra information about the film? How was it created, and what happened during the filmmaking?
Well, how it was created. Well, it's I moved to Brazil. I lived there for a while in
For 1 year, or for how many
I lived there for 1.5 years, and so after 8 months I was living there. I started shooting the film, and because when I arrived there, I met Dana, and I met her, and we became really good friends. So I knew a lot of things about her. I knew a lot of things about her life.
She lived alone for 10 years. Was it
Yeah.
her decision, or he came to Brazil with someone? Why she decided to live 10 years alone in an exotic place, of course, with nature,
Yeah.
but without speaking with people?
Well,
I think it's very complicated for me to live. Or what about you?
Yeah, I couldn't do it for sure. I lived there 1 year and a half, and it was not, I didn't live in such a remote place like her. I lived in a small village, and already after 1.5 years, I needed to go back, and I needed to do something different. But, that's what the film is about, so I don't know if I'm supposed to talk about it, really. And because the film is about, it's kind of trying to answer the question why she is there and what made her go there, and and it's a lot of information that the film is talking about.
You as a director want to say something, or some purpose, or some aim of filmmaking this movie, yes?
Yeah, yes.
Which is the name of is to be very happy right now. But what was your aim?
Mm-hmm. Well, I moved there, and I'm a city girl. I grew up in a city. I go into nature only for a holiday or something like that. And then suddenly I moved in a place which was really wild, especially that it was like a tropical nature, with beautiful flowers I've never seen before, or all kinds of fruits, and living so far from the city. I didn't have TV, internet, and I was just living at the moment there, surrounded with this beautiful nature.
Mm-hmm.
That it influenced me in a way. It calmed me down, my mind and everything, and it's changed me a lot. And I wanted to talk to people about it, like how being in a place like this can change the way you think, or can change you, so I had all these thoughts in my head that I wanted to share, and I was looking for a way to share it, and there was Dana that I was getting closer and closer to. Like, we became really good friends, and then one day I just woke up and I thought, like, yeah, this is it. I have to make a film about her, because she's such an interesting person, like living, alone and for such a long time. And she's young. She's not like an old lady that retired and went to live there. She went there when she was 27 or 28. And now she is like 39 or something like this. So she is still, a young girl.
But her boyfriend has died, and maybe this was the reason that they came together to Brazil.
Yeah.
Maybe it was the reason that she can't live with anyone, only with him. Maybe this is the life story
maybe
of loneliness without the love.
Maybe, it's like, I try to with this film, I try to talk about the things that interest me through her, let's say, and about her life. But, as I'm in my films, I don't want to get too much into people's life. Like, I'm not this crazy, journalist. So I know that there is some limits that I cannot cross. And, for example, that's why I don't really want to get into the conversation about her boyfriend and his death. And anyway, we are already revealing some things from the film, but it was for sure hard for her, and I'm sure that's also why she came back and why she stayed there. And but I also think that so much time passed that if she met someone at the moment she would fall in love again, and that she would let this person in her life probably. But because she lives, so far away from everything and people, then she has not even a chance to really meet anywhere. So she put it on herself, this kind of she's like a monk, living alone, working, trying to be self-sufficient, and really strong character and very interesting, I think.
What do you think? Would like to live such life, or maybe because you live for 1 year in Brazil,
1.5,
close to her, and far away from Poland, far away from your normal urbanization life in a big city, Warsaw.
Yeah. Well, for me, it was it was like the best time of my life, really. So it's not hard, really. Trust me, it's not hard. The hard thing is, of course, what you are used to a certain life when you live in a city, and then there you have to switch a little bit, you know. You don't have the TV, I didn't have washing machine, you know. I was washing my clothes with my hands, and I didn't have all the TV, and the water was mostly cold, you know. And so all these things that you would think it's like unthinkable living in the city, there it doesn't matter, because all around is so beautiful, and because of the beautiful surrounding, people are more happy. You know, the people are really poor, but they are very happy. They don't need much, you know. What they need is to eat something, but they have like coconuts and mangoes, and you know, it's not a problem. And if you're really hungry, and then they have to have a roof on their heads, they don't even need the walls really, because you know, it's not that cold. So it's like, you know, it's very simple life, but very
magnificent.
But very, yeah, but you know, it's also hard. It's also hard, but I think it's beautiful, and I think like that's people should at some point go and experience this kind of life, just to change the way they think, maybe, or open their mind a little bit.
Now let's talk about your documentary films. You are a documentary film director.
Yes.
What do you think about the aim of documentary films? Why are they more interesting nowadays than feature films? Because, for example, in this festival, there are a lot of people that tell us really documentary films is our future.
Yeah, that's
what do you
true,
think,
that's
like the influence or the aim of the purpose of documentary movies?
You know, I think that's true what you're saying, that nowadays I realize that even me, and I love films, you know, and I studied actually feature. I was focused on feature films, not on documentaries. I think that nowadays, even when I watch films, you know, most of the films I watch are documentaries, I found out, like when I thought about it, because they are more interesting. Like the feature films sometimes are good, they touch you, like, you know, some European cinema, let's say, they can touch you, they touch some important subjects, and they have good actors, and it's good as well, of course. But the documentary film is about real life, about real people. You know that these are their real problems, and you can go with the camera and the director that takes you anywhere in the world, and you can just see part of it, you know. And this is, I think, the most interesting, that it's not some fiction, it's real, you know.
And you don't need much money, yes, first of all.
Yeah, and that's the best thing about documentary, that like this film, I didn't have any money for it. I didn't get any, you know. I was producer, I was cinematographer and director and writer and editor, and you know, and now I go to festivals and try to show it to people, and you know, and it's just me, and it's great that, you know, you don't need much and you can do interesting things, meaningful things as well.
I'm a journalist, and I think journalism and documentary movies are two close professions. For example, I would like to make a film in future, next year. Can you tell me and other people that watch us, maybe some 5 or 3 or a couple advices how to make your film more interesting, or how to make good documentary films, or which mistakes we shouldn't do right now? Please.
Well, that's an interesting question. Well, I think that first of all, you need to know what you want to say. Like, I mean, not exactly, because when I start a documentary, I never have a script. You know, I have an idea inside me that I know which way I want to go, and then I go it, because in documentary this is very interesting, that in a feature film it's a bit easier, because you have the screenplay, yeah, and you know everything what you're gonna have in the film. And in documentary you don't know, it's like experiencing new things, so you have to be open and follow. You don't know which way you're gonna go, which way the character is gonna take you. You just can have like some frame that you want to stay in, and then it goes, you know, different ways. But so this is interesting, but I think that it's good to know what you're talking about, and to do a research before you start, so that you know if you have a character, for example, then you know the character very well, you know a lot of things about the character.
To make you and your character friends, yes, to be as close as possible.
Well, this is not always necessary, maybe, but in my case it was like this. But it's helpful, because if you spend a lot of time with this person, you know a lot about her or him, and then you know which way to go more. You know what questions to ask. You know what you can ask and what you can't ask. You know, because you also have to be very delicate with people. Don't push them too much. And I think that in my experience, when I do documentary films, I first make people get used to the camera. I don't talk to them, I don't ask them things. I follow them with the camera, and after some time they get used to it and they don't notice it anymore. And after that they get more comfortable, and then I start like pushing them a bit more or talking or making them speak to the camera, but they don't feel ashamed anymore, which is, you know, which is good. It's just to blend in with the camera so they don't see it. And I think that's important. That's important in documentaries, especially that you make a film with not professional people. They are not actors. So people, you know, they sometimes shy in front of the camera, or they act differently, or they, you know. So you have to make them relax and feel comfortable, and then, you know, they can take you in places you can't even imagine.
Thank you very much, Camilla, that you've come to us. Это была Камила Юзефович, мы с ней говорили о том фильме, который она создала с таким с замечательным названием Льюиса Керрола «Gallumping», yes? И она будет все-таки продолжать свою карьеру, она будет делать фильмы документальные. Но еще что я хочу вам сказать напоследок, это то, что благодаря тому, что ты можешь посещать такие фестивали, как документальное кино, ты можешь видеть жизни других людей, как они живут. Может быть, в Афганистане, в Ираке, в Иране, в Бразилии. Ты можешь понимать, какая у них жизнь, и понимать, что неправильно есть в твоей жизни, что это может быть изменить. Поэтому искусство — это прежде всего поучительное, и оно заставляет тебя понять, какую жизнь хочешь вести ты. Это была программа «Счастье есть». Меня зовут Дарья Счастливая. До скорой встречи.